Sanyi. Thank you for tuning in. Here with me, I have Mr. Yared Tarfasa. Mr. Yared has presented his paper at 36th OSA Annual Conference. His paper revolves around the state nation, building state nation. Mr. Yared, thank you for your time and thank you for talking to me.
Thank you for having me.
To just begin with, what was the theme of your paper? And let's get started from there on, and we can continue from there.
The theme is whether there are opportunities and explore the challenges in the event that the Oromo nation decides to go for a sovereign independent state.
Well, I have attended your presentation. As somebody that has looked into a lot of OSA presentations regarding the state nations, I think Professor Asfa Jalata is also presenting on that today. There are a lot of challenges that you have to counter, I think. There are a lot of people that believes that it's difficult for the Oromo people to be state. Part of their argument is that, one, the geopolitical situation in Horn of Africa by itself makes it difficult for the Oromo people to become independent because a lot of external forces operate and would like to operate in an environment where, one country can divide. So, second argument they have is that even if the Oromos are able to have that power to just, create that state nation, it's very difficult for the Oromo people to maintain the peace and stability of the Oromia nation, the Republic of Oromia per se. It's going to be very difficult because there's a lot of enemies and there's economic interest and political interest, and there's a lot of things that will be difficult. So they say that is better to just stay with Ethiopia. And another thing is the international community is not, they usually does not support the United States foreign policy and EU. They're not in favor of creating a new nation. As much as possible, they would like to stick to a nation that exists and try to democratize it. So how, as an Oromo, the Oromo nation, can encounter all of this and become a nation? This is, I think, goes with the difficulties and the opportunities. What is our opportunity? What is the difficulties? How are you going to encounter this? And what is your encounter argument for those people who are actually saying that it's going to be very difficult for the Oromo to be a nation?
The formation of a state at this time, in any part of the world, is not easy. In my paper, I was just exploring what are the opportunities, if there are any opportunities, and what are the challenges that the Oromo nation would encounter in the event that the Oromo nation decides to go separate way. Okay, now let me start from the last part. As far as the international legal and political environment is concerned, there is a big challenge because secession is viewed as a disruption to the international state order. Therefore, there will be a pushback against Oromo independence, particularly given the principle of territorial integrity of states, pre-existing states. Another point you raised was the Americans or superpowers' interest in maintaining the Ethiopian state. Again, the reason that America and other countries want Ethiopia to remain undivided is, of course, one, based on the principle of territorial integrity, and two, the dissolution of the state might lead to other problems that will spill over the borders, like migration, disease, terrorism, and things of that sort. So the challenges are daunting for an Oromo state to emerge. But I will quote the founder of the Jewish state: "If you will it, it's not a dream. It can be achieved." Now, what are the costs associated with it? What are the practical and moral responsibility of the Oromo nation? Those are important considerations for any politician or for the Oromo nation if they want to be independent to consider. But the Oromo nation also has to decide whether staying in Ethiopia, paying the cost of staying, is less than the cost of achieving or fighting for independence. Another consideration is, if you take the case of Norway being separated from Sweden, or the Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia being divided into two, Scotland vis-a-vis England, Quebec vis-a-vis Canada. There are examples of peacefully carrying out self-determination to decide the political status of nations. I also believe that these ethnic tensions or divisions should not necessarily lead to violence. Okay, you have to be realistic though. In the case of Ethiopia, are the Ethiopian elites able, ready, and willing to solve problems peacefully? Then you have to step back and see the history of Ethiopia. It has not been a good one, and the rhetoric coming, the claims coming, the hatred coming, the conflict coming, the continuous hate. Thus, it's up to the Oromo people to decide. I'm not here to advocate one or the other.
Which I completely do understand. Because I looking through the presentation, you made a very valid points, which we have to really careful, and we have to act responsibly. At the same time, explore the opportunities. So, few of there are usually is being viewed as extreme if you are for state nation, but even those who are actually compromising are not doing well, meaning that the cost is all the same, to my opinion. And we can take the case of South Sudan and how the international community pushed back for them to become a state, but they had to stand, they have the determination, and they prevailed. Now we have a disruption. We do not have a clarity of what we want to do. Even among our society, we can see and how people are actually reacting. And also, even these two opinions in Oromo, meaning those who are actually for state nation and for those who are multinational federalism or democratization of Ethiopia, I don't see the interest to coexist I mean, the ideas. I mean, not individuals. The ideas is going to be there, but really, the sense of animosity among these two opinions are, being displayed to the public, and we have seen that. And how can we really keep these two opinions move forward, or we need a clarity of what we want to do as a nation, as a some people say Oromo is already a nation. You also said that earlier. Should we have just stick to one and just try to shape the opinion of the public to one, or how is that even possible? And because unless you have that at least one opinion override, meaning like not, you cannot let go of the other opinion, but you have popular support. So what do you think is the way out of the clearing things out?
Yeah, I mean, this is not unique for Oromos or to Oromos. In every nation, everywhere, including the United States, including France, the elites will be divided into two ideological, camps generally. Russia, the Bolshevik revolution was divided into two camps. So it's not unique to Oromos. The way to go forward to solve it is, I would say, through referendum. But the choice,
if we can get the referendum, I don't think we have a debate.
well, okay, let me finish the first sentence. So political or ideological differences can be solved in two ways. One is through violence, then the other one is through debate or vote. I would prefer through debate or voting. If you take the case of Sudan, for example, the SPLM has never, especially the second phase, under John Garang, they never wanted secession. They never asked for independence. No, John Garang was calling for a national revolution so that they would stay in Sudan, a united Sudan, southern Sudan remaining in Sudan, okay, and democratize and change Sudan, and by removing the old Sudan to create the new Sudan. Fortunately, he was killed. He died, and even while he was alive, there was a disconnect between the southern Sudanese people and the SPLM leadership. The people want independence. The leadership wanted integration with the northern Sudan. When the referendum was held, the people voted 99.8% for independence. Okay, now when it comes to Oromo, again, as I told you, I don't know if I've mentioned it earlier, since the time of Menelik, the Oromo elite has been divided into two camps, whether to relinquish Oromo sovereignty and be under Ethiopia, or to assert Oromo sovereignty and be an independent state. Even during World War II, the Western Oromo Confederation has declared its independence. Oromo Liberation Front, the Wago, the Bale, okay, the Raya, there have been struggles, the Mechatulamas. But in the final analysis, let the Oromo people decide, right? If this is something that we cannot agree, let the Oromo people decide. So that way we would solve it once and for all. Or we can also agree, okay, we don't want this generation to determine the fate of all the next coming generations. Okay, let's agree to make a referendum like in 25 years from now. But at least modernize the politics. Let's stop killing each other. Let's stop the war. I think that would be the first step to go forward.
Thank you, Yared. I think we should have more of this conversation another time, because I pulled you out from the conference and to contact you about this issue, and I really do appreciate your time. And but you are welcomed always to Kello to have this discussions. I think those are very important and timely conversations that we should have. And I look forward to talk to you more in depth about these issues. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Kia.
Thank you.